And welcome back to I'm Getting Too Old for This Shit. There's a little bit of construction going outside, so occasionally you're going to hear the beep, beep, beep of things backing up and a little bit of noise. Just ignore it. I've learned to live with it. You'll learn to live with it too. What are we going to talk about today? Well, guess what? We're coming up next month on World Tripe Day. Yes, that is a real thing. In case you don't know what tripe is, it's it's oh, I can't. I've had it. I've eaten it, and I vowed never to think about it ever again. Tripe's basically the lining of cows or a pig's stomach, and they take the lining out and they cook it, and you're supposed to eat it. It can, yeah, it's really appealing. If you're curious, go look up pictures of tripe. If you're a vegetarian or squeamish, don't, please. And if you do and you get grossed out by it, don't complain to me. I've warned you. Anyhow, tripe is one of those foods that you either love or you hate. I've never met anybody in the middle ground. It has this really weird texture as well, and to me it was chewy, and it was appalling. At any rate, believe it or not, coming in October will be World Tripe Day. And I'm sure you're so glad I told you about this that you will not miss the opportunity to eat tripe. Oh, I can't even figure it out. Anyhow, I did a little bit of research. I was looking for something else, and as usual, I got sidetracked and found this, and I thought, who in hell wanted to celebrate World Tripe Day? But then I thought, I have a friend that loves tripe. He really likes tripe, and he never gets a chance to eat it. So yeah, there you go. It's like I said, love it or hate it. Anyhow, I started doing a little research to find out who thought of this, and we're going to blame Samuel Pepys for that. If you're not familiar with Samuel Pepys, one of my great literary heroes has now been knocked off his pedestal because of this. Samuel Pepys was one of the great diarists. He wrote for years a diary and about his day-to-day life, and this is back in the 1660s, a little before, just in that era. He wrote about the Great Plague in the area. He was the Secretary of the Navy, so he was quite an important person. And he wrote just a lot of day-to-day stuff, what he ate, going to the theater, friends coming over, the plague, watching it come through. And there's a great section, if you are a history interested in history. There's a great sections on the Great Fire of London. When I was in England years and years ago, I actually went up into the tower he stood on and watched the progress of the fire as it swept through parts of London. And in his diary, he talks quite extensively about it. He was the Secretary of the Navy, and so he traveled with the movers and shakers of the time. But his diaries, he wrote them in a cryptic way, so nobody could read them until they were translated. I think it was sometime in the 1880s. Now, I'm going to have to look that up. I can't quite remember. It's been decades since I've looked at it, looked at information about it. And there are a number of volumes that you can get. You can actually pick them up pretty cheap at used bookstores. I think there are a couple of free versions on Amazon if you're interested. The writing is a little archaic because it was written, a long time ago, but it is fascinating. I have this volume, a couple of volumes up there, and I was reading one the other day. And I can't remember where I put it. It's in the apartment somewhere. I have a habit of doing that. I found a book in the fridge one day, so it might even be in the freezer for all I know. Who knows? Anyhow, back to tripe. So Samuel Pepys wrote about tripe. He enjoyed tripe, and there's a specific section that people refer to as to why they consider Samuel Pepys the father of World Tripe Day. Now, World Tripe Day didn't come about until recently, so it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, and I don't think we should be talking about tongues and cheeks and tripe in the same sentence. At any rate, this is what he wrote, and yes, I do need new glasses, so don't laugh too hard. So, October 24th, he wrote, "After, with great pleasure, lying a great while talking and sporting in bed with my wife, I think sporting means, yeah, use your imagination. I think we all understand what sporting means. For we have been for some years now, and at present more and more, a very happy couple, blessed by God. I got up and to my office, and having done there some business, home and dined there with my wife upon a most excellent dish of tripes of my own directing, covered with mustard, of which I made a very great meal, and sent for a glass of wine for myself. Thanks, Samuel. He really liked his tripe. I'm not sure how I missed that the first time around. But there you have it. So if you're the type of person that likes tripe, more power to you. Enjoy it. Eat it. It's a bugger to cook, from what I gather. Come the apocalypse, you'll be the survivors, because it's evident you'll eat anything that's put in front of you. And hey, build a better world. If you're curious, find Samuel Pepys. His last name is spelled P-E-P-Y-S. He was a great British diarist. And one of the volumes I have, it's a real cheap one, and you can find it almost everywhere. It's called And So to Bed. It only covers from 1660 to 1662. I can't remember when the Fire of London was. How bad is that? I can't even remember that. Great Fire of London. Here we go. And 1666. It will not cover the Great Fire of London. So there you have it. So start off with any volume you can get your hand on. But like I said, Amazon often has free ebooks of old out-of-print or out-of-copyright books, so you might be able to pick a copy up there. Libraries always have copies. Well, not always. A good library will have a couple copies. And haunt used bookstores. One pops up there every now and then. That's how I picked up almost all of mine. So pick up Pepys. Avoid the tripe pictures. Trust me, you don't want to go down that road. And I'll see you for another edition of I'm Getting Too Old for This. Whenever I get around to recording another one. Okay? Later.